I think we have the ability to really change the world. I am persuaded that we're at a moment in the history of the world where we need more people to push for justice, to kind of make a difference in this question, this quest for justice. And I believe all of us can play a role in that. So we're a very different nation than we were 40 years ago. In 1972, we had 300,000 people in jails and prisons in America. Today, we have 2.3 million people in jails and prisons. The United States now has the highest rate of incarceration in the world. We've done terrible things to women. The percentage of women going to prison has increased 640% in the last 20 years. 50% of the people in jails and prisons suffer from mental illness. 20% are acutely mentally ill. There are these problems of despair. I go into communities where I sit down with 12 and 13-year-old kids, and they tell me that they don't expect to be free by the time they're 21. I think we can change the world. I think we can create more justice, but we've got to do some things. The first thing we've got to do is I believe we've got to get proximate to the problems that we care most deeply about. I think that we don't solve problems effectively when we stay too far away. We've got too many policymakers trying to make decisions about issues from a distance. And when you're trying to make decisions from a distance, you miss things. When you get proximate, you hear things that you can't hear from a distance. You see details that you can't see from a distance. Proximity is key because it teaches you to really understand the challenges that you face. And I am persuaded, not only is it important that we get proximate because it helps us understand, I am persuaded that proximity teaches us the power we have to make a difference in the world. They opened the door and there stood this death row prisoner, the first death row prisoner I'd ever met. And my image of him was shaped by what he looked like. He was a man burdened by chains. He was just covered with chains. He had handcuffs on his wrists. He had a chain around his waist. He had shackles on his ankles. And it took them 10 minutes to unchain him. I just walked up to him and I said, "I'm so sorry. I'm just a law student. I don't know anything about the death penalty. I don't know anything about appellate procedure. I don't know anything about criminal law. I don't know anything about criminal procedure. I don't know anything really about anything. But they sent me down here to tell you that you're not at risk of execution anytime in the next year." And as soon as I said that, the man said, wait, say that again. I said, "You're not at risk of execution anytime in the next year." And the man said, wait, say that again. I said, "You're not at risk of execution anytime in the next year." And that's when this man grabbed my hands and he said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And I couldn't believe how, even in my ignorance, how just being proximate could have an impact on the quality of someone's life.
In coming to college, I realized I would have to let go of parts of my identity that I had clung to in the past in order to grow into the type of person I wanted to become. I was able to do so because Santa Clara granted us the freedom to explore our passions. Over the years, we each found our place here. Whether it was playing a sport as a Division I athlete, working as an orientation leader or an EMT, or becoming a leader in the Multicultural Center or Into the Wild. We have each been afforded opportunities to chart our own paths to success. Santa Clara opened my eyes to a new definition of success. It wasn't about how many things I was doing for myself, but how much of an impact I was having on others. This view of success, of being a person of value, is rooted much more deeply in who I want to be moving forward and who I see us all becoming. Our class and our generation has enormous potential to be the kind of compassionate leaders the world desperately needs. It seems that every other week an article comes out claiming people of our millennial generation can't make commitments, have limited attention spans, and don't care about anyone but themselves. I refuse to let those claims define us. To me, this doesn't sound like a generation that can't commit. This doesn't sound like a generation that doesn't care about anyone but themselves. But we were lucky. Santa Clara encouraged us, supported us, and made it possible for us to be people of value. But to be a person of value, you don't need to be halfway around the world. Now, more than ever, we need moral leaders in every sector. We will be those leaders. For the past 4 years, we have been looking at the world through the lens of our Santa Clara experience. At times, this was like looking at the world through rose-colored glasses. But that doesn't mean that we're blind to the problems of the world, or that we can't pay attention long enough to solve them. We are simply optimistic about what the world could look like and feel empowered to be the ones to make the changes the world needs.
Today is a new day. You are that new day. Today, we leave an epoch behind, a grand moment of leaps, wanderings, and movement, and step into a new time, unforeseen, now here. Today, you are that new time, now visible, now prepared, now filled with eagerness and hope. You are that hope, that wild-born vista of new horizons. Today, este dia, change comes to you, to your doors, to this arena. It is bigger than you, and yet you're at its center. You're the blood of this vast new body of change. Yes, you are. What is it, you may say? What will it contain? ¿Qué es? ¿De qué está hecho? What road must you choose? Where will it lead? You do not know. We do not know. It has arrived. It comes in the shape of audiences rumbling with questions, of resistance, with dreams of freedom, hungry, thirsty, in search of a thing called peace, in search of sisterhood, in search of brotherhood, longing for humanity. What will you say? What will you say about climate change? What will you say about war upon war? What will you write about unity, not just about yourself or for yourself? How many bowls of water will you offer to those living in fear of deportation, in fear of bullying and bullets, in fear of detention, in fear of the forced abandonment of their children? What will you offer? Yes, you, to the ocean and skies. What will you say as you grasp the smoke of bombs, the smoke of billions, the wings and fish and fins flashing in razor nets down below? Today, you are dressed in meaning. Today, you are surrounded with affirmation from your parents, family, teachers, friends and neighbors. Yes, today is that new day. It is your turn now, all yours, to walk far, to lose yourself in the harvest of fields, to give seeds of meaning to all, to gain knowledge,